They were changing things before the actual election. They were changing things
because they were trying to get to a result. I mean, again, I'm not justifying what they're doing, but you're Dale Jackson here with you. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate you being here. We got Jacob Morrison with us, a Valley Labor Report, 9:30 to 11 on WVNN on Saturdays. You've probably heard this show before. You've heard him on this program a bunch, and we've talked about this situation going on at the Vance, Alabama Mercedes-Benz plant. They went to unionize. People thought that they had that locked up. Mercedes-Benz came in and said, whoa, what about this? What if we do this? What if we do that? Whoa. And then the workers there said, okay, we're cool with that. Thank you very much. And now there are reports that they are not living up to their end of the bargain in rolling back some of their promises. Jacob Morrison, I guess you're going to tell me that you saw this coming, and this is what they were going to do all along, and they can't be trusted, and this will be the time that next time they try to unionize there, they'll make the argument that, see, they didn't do what they said they were going to do. Is that right?
Yeah. That's basically it. You know, this happened with, this is one of the reasons that workers at Volkswagen believed that they were successful where Mercedes wasn't, where workers at Mercedes were not, because workers at Volkswagen, this is the third election that they've gone through. So they have gone through a very similar process of, bosses telling them that they're going to fix these things, and, oh, look at us, aren't we so nice? You know, you don't need any actual power. You don't need to actually bargain a contract. You don't need any of this in writing. You know, you just play nicey nice with us, and all, and everything's going to be great. And so the third time around in the third election at Volkswagen, enough workers felt like, no, we do want some power. We do want to be able to have some real control over what's going on here, and we're not just going to trust you. And so talking to some Volkswagen workers and some pro-union Mercedes workers, they said that probably even before this started happening, that once Mercedes starts backing off of some of the promises that they were making, that's going to make it easier to win the next election. But, I do have to say that while I saw it coming, as far as, eventually, the bosses are they're gonna just not care as much, and they're gonna stop once the threat they feel like has abated, they're going to sink back into their old ways and start, just doing whatever they want, right? But I did not expect it to be this soon. I was very surprised about this. And
okay, hold on one second. Let's talk about what this is real quick. There's a letter, apparently, and it's been alleged that UAW is saying that it cannot move forward with its promises because the challenge that is being raised with the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, that seems to be the hook here. Not necessarily that they're not going to do it at all, but that they've got to wait until this whole thing has played itself out. Now, again, to me, that doesn't make much sense, but that is essentially what the, hold on. But, sure. but that's what they're alleging. And could this possibly be a political posturing on the part of the UAW saying, hey, NLRB, you still got this thing to look over. They're not giving us what I want. You should reject this and make them do it again.
No, it's not. It's the UAW, taking a stand against the company on behalf of the workers there that still have an interest in the UAW, and that the UAW still has an interest in. And specifically, what the issue is right now is that there's like an annual shutdown or some sort of thing. This happens at factories with some amount of regularity, and during the election, apparently there are multiple workers that have told reporters that they feel like, and then this has been reported in AL.com and Labor Notes, that one of the things that management promised them was that during the shutdown, you are not going to be forced to take leave or be one of the few people that work at the plant. You're going to be able to, we're just going to give you those days off, and they're going to be paid. and now they're saying no, we can't do that because we've never done that in the past. That's one of the things that we're going to change, right? You either had to be one of the few people working at the plant, you had to take leave without pay, or you had to take vacation. So one of the promises that they were making during the campaign is we're not going to do that anymore. You're going to get the shut off. You're going to get that as like a holiday, right?
Yeah.
And so now they're saying they can't do that because of the complaints from the UAW. But you can tell, that they don't believe that because they were making other changes during the election, in the run up to the election, while the UAW also had complaints against Mercedes. The UAW has had ULPs filed against Mercedes.
Yeah, but they had a labor election coming up. I mean, that was
that's actually, and there's actually,
I'm not suggesting that that's like a good argument, but I mean, is it an understanding?
It's worse. Yeah,
Okay.
It's worse actually to do it to pretend that you believe that's the state of labor law after the election is over, because actually before the election takes place, there is actually an argument that that the company is not allowed to make things better until the election takes place, because there is a.
But the election's not over, isn't that their argument?
No, the election is over. The argument is that it needs to be rerun.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
No, that's your argument. No, that's your argument. What I'm suggesting is the argument that the automaker is making is that the election actually isn't over because the challenge is still alive. That's the argument. All I'm saying here is this: from my reading of this, and again, I'm not suggesting I'm some sort of expert on this. I'm reading the media reports that you sent me. So from my reading of this is basically that they're saying, hey, this election isn't actually over yet because this challenge still exists. It's not saying we're never going to do this. It's not clear. Hold on. It's not clear that they're like, yay, we can't wait to do this either. But it's not, we're never going to do this. Screw these guys. We won. Ha, 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 ha. Na. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is this thing isn't over yet. That's their argument. Whether you agree with that or not, hold on. Whether you agree with it or not, that's the argument, right?
Right. That's the argument. And you can tell that it's a lie because before the election, when it was clearly not over, right? It was very clearly not over before the vote had taken place. Right now, maybe that's, that is their argument that there's this complaint. And so therefore we can't change anything. But they were changing things before the actual election, when nobody was saying that this thing is over. They were changing things
because they were trying to get to a result. I mean, again, I'm not justifying what they're doing, but okay. Let me just put it this way, Jacob Morrison, you're acting like you're some doe-eyed deer in the woods who's going, I don't understand.
No, I'm not. No, that's not what's happening. That's absolutely not what is happening. You are saying that, and this is what they're saying. They are saying we can't do this because this election period is not over yet. The thing is not done yet. And what I'm saying is, if that was their stance throughout the entire election period, then maybe there would be an argument there. But that was not their stance during the entire election period. Before the vote happened, they were constantly making a lot of changes to working conditions. And actually, there is an argument that before the election happened, that was a violation of labor law because they were it was not laboratory conditions for the election, right? And so they have changed their position, right? They are not acting in the same way, and that's the issue. And even in the run up to an election, a union can disclose that, a union has the ability to say like, oh, you want to raise wages during the course of this election. We're fine with that. You don't have to, you can officially disclose your interest in that issue.
Sure.
And they never asked the UAW to do that. But the UAW has never filed a ULP over raising wages or anything like that. It's a cynical move by the company.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. But my point is this. The framing of this is they've told them that they're just basically going to screw them. Okay, that's basically the framing. But the reality is, it appears, just as and for someone from the outside, the union seems to be making the argument that this is never going to happen, and the company's saying, no. When this is done completely, it will happen. You're just saying you don't believe them.
The union is not saying that this is never going to happen. The union is saying that specifically in July of 2024, workers were made to believe by management that they would get the shutdown paid without having to take leave. And it appears that the stance of management as of this moment is that will not happen. And
right
management
now
is going back on its word. Yes, in July of 2024, management is not abiding by the promise that they made to the workers during the election.
But next year, if it's
hiding behind.
But next year, if it's over, but next year, if it's over, we can't really hide behind labor law, right?
Well,
labor
they're hiding behind labor law right now, and the UAW is calling that out. The UAW is just saying.
I get it. I get that they're calling out. But what I'm saying is, you're saying they're hiding behind labor law, which is another way of saying they're following the law.
No, it's not. No, you know that.
You're hiding behind labor law. You mean the following law? But my point is this: it's not to say it's never going to happen. It's to say that it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened yet, and it could. Okay, all right. I think we'll see what happens next. But let's just be real. You'd like to see these votes taking place over and over and over again until you get what you want, right?
Until I get what I would like to see, as long as
just say yes, dude. I mean, come on. We both know the answer.
I would like to. Of course, I would like to see what I want, but I would not. I would not have it that they continue to take votes where there is clearly no interest from the workers in joining a union. Right? As long as there's an interest, then I think yes, there should be elections, and you should have an opportunity to have another election. Democracy is not a one and done thing. I'm not like some Republican governments where I think that unions, I think that every single year you should have to have an election to recertify your union.
Just elections, if they fail, then they should have them every year until it wins.
No, I think that if we're going to have regularly timed elections in all workplaces, I think that would be one thing that I.
So every year decide whether or not you're going to unionize or not.
No, because the way that you have an election about whether or not to unionize is you have workers say, I want to have this election.
Unionize. Yes, I agree. That's fine. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as long as workers there want to have an election, as long as there's a strong enough contingent that say, we want to go again. Then they
if the auto worker comes back and says, okay, we're gonna fulfill all the things that we promised, and we're gonna do it right now, not before the NLRB decides, you're cool with them saying no more elections?
No.
I'm just checking. I just want to make sure.
I'm not good with Mercedes being able to get rid of their workers' ability to have elections in perpetuity.
I'm just saying.
Course, obviously not.
The point of that question was to say, even if they got everything they wanted, your argument would be, yeah, they should probably have another election, right?
They should have another election.
Okay,
but if we get to a place where not even a sizable minority of Mercedes workers want to have an election, then ultimately we should not have an election.
Jacob Morrison, thank you very much. Valley Labor Report, 9:30 to 11 right here on WVNN.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.